Good evening. This is CTV News for Monday, October 17th. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Patricia Villa. Thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with the latest installment of our CTV special series on domestic violence. In October 2002, the Washington region was paralyzed as the Beltway sniper attacks took place. John Allen Muhammad and his accomplice, Lee Boyd Malvo, went on a shooting spree, indiscriminately killing 10 people and injuring 3 others across Maryland, Virginia, and the District of Columbia. Now, what you may not know is that the motive behind the killings was domestic violence related. We now bring you Mildred Muhammad's story in her own words.
I am Mildred Muhammad. I have become an international speaker on the issues of domestic violence. I came to be about that by my ex-husband, who was John Allen Muhammad, the DC sniper. Most people don't know that that whole situation was a domestic violence child custody issue. Law enforcement stated that I was the target, and the theory was he was killing innocent people to cover up my murder so that he could come in and get custody of our children. It wasn't in our relationship until after he came back from Desert Storm, and he was diagnosed with PTSD. I noticed that he had a significant change in his behavior when he returned. Prior to that, he was jovial, life of the party. Everybody wanted to be around him. He was a really fun person to be around. But when he got back, he was distant. He didn't want to engage in conversation. He was isolating himself, but the only person that he would communicate with was our son, John Jr. I received a lifetime restraining order, but we had to have visitation with our children. So one weekend on a visitation, he took them. He didn't bring them back. Took them out of the country to Antigua. It was 18 months before I saw them again. I had to go through an emergency custody hearing, and once I got the children back, I came to Maryland and I hid here. I had already gotten my divorce, October 6, 2000. Washington State just passed a law stating that I could leave the state of Washington without telling the abuser where I was going, and I would not be charged with kidnapping. And that's how I left. He went to that same court, told them I kidnapped the children. They did a skip trace, found me in the DC area, and told him. He went to his best friend and said, I found Mildred, she's in DC, I'm gonna go get her. In the midst of the shootings, that best friend called the FBI and said, I don't know anything about your case, but you may wanna look at John Allen Muhammad. His ex-wife is in the area and he may be there to hurt her. I was so scared. I didn't go anywhere. I went to work, I came home. I would check the rooftops. I would check the levees. I didn't tell people. I didn't have friends because I didn't want to be responsible for their lives. So nobody knew. When the shooting started in 2002, the profilers told us to look for 2 Caucasians in a white box truck. So there was no way I would connect them, the description, with John. So I had no idea that it would be him. When it first happened, I secluded myself and my children because I needed to heal or help my children to heal. That was my primary focus at the time. And then once they were okay, then I asked them if it was okay that I would go out and help other women or victims by talking about their dad. And they say, Mom, as long as you tell the truth, then we're okay. Some victims or people feel that victims will never heal from the abuse that they suffered, and that's not true. It's a long journey, it's a painful journey, but ultimately you can get over it. I did.
And stay tuned throughout October as CTV brings you more stories to highlight Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Golson Middle School was on lockdown this morning after someone claiming to be a clown called in a bomb threat. Investigators say someone phoned in the threat saying they had planted explosives in the building. Police searched the school, but no bombs were found. The lockdown was lifted and the investigation continues. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Patricia Vallone.